What's up, everybody? Another day here, another video. We are getting ready to cut out the lower trailing arm mounts. Still haven't got the lower control arms welded on yet. I'll do that here sometime this afternoon, but went to the metals outlet, got a 4x8 sheet of 1/4 inch. I've got the program that I drew up loaded in the machine, ready to go. All we have to do now, come over here, hit this nice play button, and it does its thing. I think total runtime for this is going to be, it is estimated 7 minutes and some change. Get back to you when it's all done. There it is. Trailing arms. Let's give those a minute. You can pick them up right now, but we'll just give them a minute to cool down a little bit more. Notice the big plate on the edge where it got real close, starting to warp. So let all the heat go out of there with the water, and then put them on the bench. Knock a little bit of dross off the edges, and we should be good. I've got this thing like dialed in for 1/4 inch, so straight off the table right here, still dripping wet. Let me turn the camera on. So this is the top side, the dross on it. You can flick off with your fingernail. The lower side here, it has that little bit there, same thing. I bet if I rub that. So that's all it's got. We'll do this edge right here. Gone. Like I said, I have this plasma table dialed in for 1/4 inch, 3/4, surprisingly, 1 inch, 3/16, 1/8, and all the gauges. Like, had it for, I think I'm going on almost 3 years now. Yeah, so I've been playing with the settings the whole time. So makes jobs like this easy. We just get it out, angle grinder, hit the edges really fast just so we have a clean surface to weld to. And yeah, so let's get to doing that. Everything's all cleaned up. Let's start tacking it together. Kind of have to weld it in upside down together. Might be able to show you why, but let me get to tacking. All right, tacked together in place. Got it set up. I still have to cut my 2.5 inch or 2 inch 1/4 inch wall tube that inserts in here, but there you go. She's beefy. Got all the gussets in it. That's where the shock mounts. There you go. All right, fast forward a little bit more. Started going through and tacking corners. Got bolts set in place so those don't get any closer together, but then I've also got the gusset plates to keep them from spreading in. Started plug welds around. I've got the tube cut and the Heim place. I gotta take the joint off so we don't melt it. And then I've got, you see the tube goes all the way in. Let me pause this. I'll take it apart, at least the bottom piece, and show you the inner workings. All right, so
got it flipped upside down. This piece isn't welded on yet, so you can kind of see the inner workings of all the gussets and stuff. Just realized I welded that one in. No, I made that one wrong. Well, dang. Let me knock that one off. Make one that fits right. Messed up something on that, because that should be hitting there. Let me make a new piece. All right, we're back. I didn't make a new piece for this one. I just made a little bridge gusset, put it on there, because I welded the top fully, and that'd be a pain to put in. It'll be plenty strong with the sides and that little gusset thing. I've got it weld through primered on the inside here, just to try to control some kind of rust. But I guess it's time to flip that over, put it on top, tack it in place, flip back over, and start welding the whole thing. And while I'm welding this, I'm gonna turn that back on and cut the other side, but edit the file so that doesn't happen. All right, here we go. This is the underside. I've got 2 small drain holes in the side. This little finger reaches out and grabs the insert as well. Spot welds all the way, or plug welds I should say, all the way down the bottom are done. This piece plug welded, bent over and welded to there. Like I said, this is the bottom. Get ready to flip it over and we can start slowly just stitch welding the top. That's the end of the day today. Got it 75% welded. Let me show you. Got the back welded. We have the front welded, including the little ear that got bent up around it. That piece is fully welded in. All the spot welds are done. All the gussets are done. All the plug welds are done. As you can see, the drains still pass through and work. The only thing we have to do is, once we remove the bolts, get these top plug welds in and weld the little corners right there on all 4 of those guys. And then it'll be the big long welds, and then the full sides on the bottom on both sides. While I was welding this, I have the table running. It's cut out our other side arm for tomorrow, but we'll see you guys in the morning. It's another day around lunch. Let me show you what I've done so far. I've only worked on this thing for like 20 minutes today. Got the trailing arm mounts tacked in place in all 4 corners. Trailing arm mount. There you go. Fully welded now. All I'm waiting on is the 1/2-inch weld washers from Barnes. All right, spent some time yesterday afternoon. Got this done. So, with those all welded up, made the lower mounts. They're just tacked in place. Both sides there. Works out great. So, rock sliding down through there, comes through it. There's the rear view. It'll get plated up once we get everything done. We get a bottom plate and then a semi back plate. The trailing arm mounts on the frame here. You can see my old tack weld. I dropped them down 1.5 inches just to help with this angle a little bit better, because they were pretty extreme. They were sitting 12 to 13 somewhere, and now they're 8 to 10. So that helped a ton. Still plenty of surface area mounted to it, and we'll just make a plate that comes up and around and overlaps it and lap more of the frame. Rear links, have them set where they're kind of gonna live. They might be a little bit lower, and they will be angled out like that, which is perfect because that is the radiator or engine to radiator, and that one is radiator to engine. Brake lines pop out. The links will live roughly halfway on the frame, so brake lines can pop out, come down the link, and then to each brake. Still plenty of room for exhaust for it to come out and downturn. But no more working on it for the week for me because we're having to fix some stuff on another truck. Let me show you. Transfer case was added to a vehicle I will show you here in a second. This is the factory low, neutral, high shifter for the transfer case. They took a nut with a bolt and put a pivot point on it, so it's a pull-push system, so it would pull, but it wouldn't push, because obviously that's a flex point, so it would bow whenever you pushed. And what we're doing is I took all that away, no longer needed, marked my center. It needs to be 16 3/4 from center of the pivot to center of bolt there. Bring that guy all the way down to 16 3/4. Got a rod to go in between. Bam, bam. We will grind these into cones, weld it up. And I'm debating whether I should put a brace all along the full side, which I probably will just to be safe. But the thing we're working on and fixing other things on is good old sweet brown 80. Back in my hands to get fixed up again right. So that right there is coming out of the shifter, and oh, I can barely see it, but right there is the selectable transfer case. Because it got a Northwest fab secondary transfer case added to it, so we also have to run the shifter off it for him up to his center console. And the biggest job of all this is this was the cross member. I bent this down trying to break it because that is what was done to hold that whole 1/4 inch plate up. Not Apex spec. So once we get all the shifter stuff done, we'll move into supporting this rear transfer case with the screw jack and making two new cross members and a full underbelly skid. And while we're at it, his transmission skid has always worried me. We'll add him a transmission skid too, because we're in here, why not? So I have the Northwest Fab shifter mounted, bracket there, cable goes around into the transfer case. Here's the view from the driver's side. I did not cut that hole. We're getting ready to clean that up for him. But it goes in, it works. And I fixed the factory shifter rod already. That works again. What's up, everybody? It is now Wednesday. Wednesday. Got a lot of stuff done yesterday to Treys 80, so let me show you what we got done. All right, so what I've got done is on the back of this massive link mount that he has, I have tacked on 2 tabs that we cut out with the plasma cutter. We've got a bushing there. Done that on both sides. And in the rear, done the same thing, added a crossbar, same thing up and over. They are cut out with a plasma, so his lower link here will not hit anything as it comes up and flexes. And then we have the full crossbar, it's tacked in place. Idea being, this will never hit, and it will eventually give him a full belly pan. So we will come from those front ones right there next over to here, notching tube. From there, notching tube. And then we will run a cross member. This is why I have this piece of used strap, tied from the lower bolt to the lower bolt, because that is the lowest the drive shaft will ever get. We'll run a crossbar right across there, which will line up with the transmission cross member. And then on this side right here, the bar that goes all the way over, we're gonna make brackets come up and grab, I don't remember which bolt it is. I think it is those two. And we might grab one or two of these others just to hold the transfer case still, as well as this bolt and this bolt hole. We'll get runners that come over and grab it up. And then, depending on how well it's held, this crossbar right here might get another finger that comes up and grabs one of these major bolts. So that way, the Northwest Fab transfer case and the factory 80 Cruiser transfer case are supported, as well as the transmission, because we got rid of that hunk of crap. Let's do this. So fast forward to this afternoon. I had to work on some customer vehicles, so just now I got started working on this. Got all the bars in place. Up front here, we have his trans guard, 2 trans mounts. That sucker's notched in there. We don't have a mount up here, but what I'm doing is I've got a big plate here to act as a big bump pad, and we'll put a piece of foam on top. So I figured if this gets hit and bent up or hits this, it's better than a pointy rock hitting in the middle of the pan. All right, so I think that is gonna be it for this video. We've got a lot done. It is now like almost, probably after a little bit after 6 o'clock. I'm the only one here, but got everything done. So like I said before, the front transmission skid that he didn't have before for the pan, he has one now. Those 2 access holes are for the transmission mount. Main center bar here, I have got this guy up and on there, cut that thing out of the plasma cutter, went ahead and welded it good on both sides. We also have one right here. Let me flip the camera around to get you a better look. We have this one, we picked up 2 points. There's actually 3 bolts, but if you ever have to drop this whole assembly, you can get to that bolt over top of the skid here, as well as that one. That lower one would be a pain, so we're just not gonna do that. And I picked up off 2 big bolts on the side here that I don't know what they're for, but they literally went to nothing. I pulled them out slowly and the holes just bottom out. They don't actually go to anything, no fluid. You can't see inside the transfer case, so guessing they were used as a mount of some sort for something else. But that plate comes up and I've got it welded as well fully. But we should have our up and down, left and right. And that guy right there should cover front and back for us. And I know what you're thinking is, well, this is all solid, but there's a rubber mount there. Rubber mounts, look at that. Look at me thinking. I do need to get longer bolts, just saw that. Just remembered that actually. So we'll run to Ace or something tomorrow and get longer bolts for the thing. But for now, I think structure is good. I'm probably going to add one more cross bolt or beam, because if you look top of tube over here, I've got room to run one from there to there. I think we're gonna do that. And then just to give it a little more rigidity under the transfer case, we won't
mount anything up to the transfer case, because on the plasma we're going to cut all of this one big piece, take all this down, weld all the tube up, flip it over, weld the skid on. We'll have an access hole here, an access hole here. We'll blast him a little access hole for the drain, and we will cut out an actual door right here for the drain of the transfer case. And I'm assuming that right there is a drain for the Northwest Fab. I'm not 100% sure because I've never messed with them, but they got 2 plugs here, but that makes no sense to me. I don't know. We might not do anything for that one. But this one we'll do an access door, maybe. I don't know how often he drains the transfer case hole in this thing, but we'll figure it out tomorrow. That is going to be it for this video. Again, boom, there you go. And then it's not uncommon for this to happen. I started looking around the internet. So if you imagine without this being here, sharp rock come behind the front axle, comes up and hits the transmission pan, not good. This with a full cover on it protects it. Worst case scenario, this tube gets bent up, but it has a nice flat pad that hits the corner of the transmission pan rather than a sharp rock coming in through the pan. But we'll put a piece of foam on it, soften the blow a little bit. We got a ton of just scrap foam and random stuff like that here, but I think that is gonna be it for Sweet Brown and me for the day. But yeah, coming through. Bolt guy came that supplies our bolts, got me all the grade 8 bolts today for this thing. Got the battery cable, which is on the front tire, because we have to go all the way from where the battery used to be to where the battery's gonna live. So, battery used to live in this corner. This is a ground. This ground is gonna get grounded to the chassis. I'm gonna run a couple others off the motor, off the base of the alternator on the other side to the chassis. The battery that I'm thinking, if I can get my link geometry to be right, is gonna live behind the passenger seat. And then that whole panel right there will come off with some quarter turns, just it itself. And then the rest of it will be a full sheet, while this side will be a full sheet, period. So that way you have quick battery access, plus you can just reach behind the seat. So the battery should live in the floor back there. And we'll have our battery disconnect on the dash right here, the little twist knob guy. So we have to come from this guy and this guy labeled battery, and then that one goes, I think that is the stud on the fuse box. So it needs a short extension, and this one needs to come up over into the twisty knob guy, down or across the dash, underneath the dash, down passenger floor well, back and around, plus some extra slack. So I think about 20 foot, more than I needed, but I didn't want to skimp on it. And if I remember right, it is 2 gauge. So 1 step over what factory is. Yeah, and like I said, we'll run an extra ground off the base of the alternator over here, off the motor in a few spots. So the chassis will act as a main ground. And then on the back side with the battery, we will run 2 terminals from the battery to the body. 2 is 1, 1 is none. And then the winch that you want to come straight off the battery, oh, that's why I ordered a little bit extra. We will rewire this so it goes all the way back straight to the battery as well. And then the ground, as many grounds as we have come off the battery, I think I'm just gonna take the winch and just come straight to the frame. I don't see an issue with that. We just won't share a ground with like some of the engine stuff. We'll make its own personal stud right there, something like that. But good times. once again, appreciate you guys watching the videos and stuff like that. We are starting to gain some subscribers, which is awesome. A few of you, sorry, I'm trying to turn the plasma table off here. A few of you have came to the shop and mentioned that you watched the videos. I love it. Thank you very much. Everything helps. Tag us on your groups and stuff like that would be awesome. If you like a video and think it's one of the good videos I've done, share that video to your Facebook groups or your buddies. Everything helps. I appreciate it. Hey, that promo code is still going on. I believe it is Ultra 4, all caps with the number 4. That is good for our merch. We have another run coming. We sold out a ton on Expo, but yeah. Use that promo code, get you some merch and some swag from Apex Overland. I love seeing it out in the wild. Usually I keep stuff in my truck, so if I see you guys out wearing it, I actually give you more merch. So got a few hats and stuff laying around in the truck, so if I see someone wearing a shirt out in the wild, I usually give you a hat, or if you got a hat on, I give you a shirt. So thanks guys, subscribe, like, comment, do all the fun stuffs. Have a good one, bye.